Hey guys, welcome back. So for this one, we're continuing with Night Terror's Batman, which brings us back into Bruce's nightmare. And I gotta admit, I'm glad to see the moments where it shows like Bruce is starting to get the hang of this nightmare thing, cause we get a bit of that, but also there's a few more twists that come into play in the larger picture of the event. So let's get into it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications so we can squad up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so when we jump back in, we continue with Bruce going deeper into his own nightmare, which takes him deeper into his own mind so that he can take his body back from Deadman and return to the real world. But with Bruce going to this next level, his mind creates an even darker, twisted nightmare where Bruce becomes Joe Chill in Crime Alley and he murders his parents without any control over himself or the situation, with it happening so quick. But before we see exactly how this plays out, we're shown another flashback with Bruce mentioning how he's trained his whole life for all kinds of threats, including the ones in his dreams. But this time we're shown both Bruce and his son Damien undergoing this training, which is something we'll refer back to in just a little bit. But right now for Bruce, he's having trouble even in this nightmare because Deadman is controlling his body and creating a block within his mind. So regardless of how much and how long Bruce is trained for this, Deadman's involvement is kind of like a curveball for Bruce. But with him finding himself here in Crime Alley as Joe Chill, the younger Bruce asks him why did he do this, and for a moment Bruce tries to explain to his younger self what's going on, but he struggles to even put it into words, and all Bruce can say is that he can never answer that question, and he's sorry, but this is just a dream. And young Bruce, who's not trying to hear that, he says that they're all lies, as he jumps on top of Bruce and gets the claw in his face off, while telling Bruce that he did this because he wanted it. He wanted them dead so that he could become Batman. And as the flesh is just ripped off of Joe Chill, Bruce finds himself back as Batman underneath. But while wrestling back and forth with this younger version of himself, Bruce knocks him away and he tells him, "Back off, Insomnia." But this kid Bruce tells Batman that he's not Insomnia, and he knows all of Bruce's secrets because the two of them are the same. And the young Bruce Wayne tells Batman the reason why he keeps coming back to this alley in spite of all he's done is because there's a piece of him that has been trapped here forever. And with fighting off these little Brucelets, Batman finally realizes that he needs to do the thing that he never wanted to do, which is let go and let the nightmare take control, which from here allows him to take off and fly in a way that he compares to Superman for obvious reasons. But to me, in this moment, amongst many others in Bruce's nightmare, it comes off more like a Neo in the Matrix kind of thing, which of course even back then that was called the Superman thing. But as this continues, you'll see what I'm talking about, because from here when Batman takes off and flies throughout his nightmare, he once again heads deeper into his mind in what he would call a garden of his dreams, which is a garden that needs tending to, with Deadman being a weed that needs to be uprooted. And Batman understands with his nightmares seeming like Gotham, his nightmares taking on this form because this is how his mind chooses to process it. And he goes on to say how his mind catalogs its dreams, with some being a glimpse into his complicated heart and others being straight up lies. But with Bruce passing by these and going deeper into his own mind, he admits that he can't spend too much time dwelling on his own dreams or nightmares because he must get past it and shock his own system if he's gonna push Deadman out and take back control of his own body. But eventually he makes his way to a location called the Black Door, which has been chained shut like something really important is behind it. And with him coming here, we get this moment where Bruce is kind of proud of himself, like he's feeling himself, and it shows, because when he gets here he does this superhero landing, which he absolutely nails, and after doing this for a quick second he kind of smiles to himself, in a similar way to Deadman just before he jumped out of that window in Night Terror's issue 1. Because also for Bruce here, there's a bit more going on that he has yet to show and display. But when he gets here, Insomnia reveals himself by more or less letting Bruce know that he saw him smile to himself just now. So initially he approaches Bruce with the gun bat, telling him how his mind created this concoction out of two symbols, one which he embraced and the other that he denied, to make a perfect version of who Bruce actually is. But then Insomnia's attention is quickly drawn to the Black Door. With it being in this hidden place and all chained up, Insomnia assumes that this is where Dr. Destiny hid the Nightmare Stone. But Bruce tells Insomnia that he doesn't have the Nightmare Stone, But Insomnia's not buying it, so he demands that Batman opens this door unless he wants to be trapped in a loop of nightmares until the end of time. But instead of just opening this door right away, Bruce lets Insomnia know. For years, he's been obsessed with control, and now Insomnia showed him that his dreams will give him everything he needs to beat him. To where next, with a very menacing yet promising delivery, Batman tells Insomnia to get out of his nightmares, or he'll show him something really scary. As Batman transforms into a nightmare form that's a bit toned down from what we'd seen last time, but nonetheless still very effective, because when Insomnia sees this, he's just like, oh, so you're not gonna play by the rules, huh? And he tells the gun bat to go after Batman, which really once again is Insomnia showing his hand, because if anyone hasn't been playing by the rules, it's him, because Insomnia's been adding to the nightmare that was already Bruce's nightmare, though he would like to claim that it's all Bruce. And in a moment, Bruce calls him out on that. But first, when the gun bat starts letting off shots, Batman has another Neo moment with him saying no and stopping the bullets in midair. And as Batman jumps between these bullets to go after the gun bat, he tells Insomnia, he calls him out, letting him know that this creature did not come from his mind, but rather this gun bat was something that Insomnia created to try and scare him. But while Batman's occupied with the gun bat, Insomnia feels something in the land of nightmares pulling him away. So he fades away, telling Batman that he should have taken his offer, but now it's too late. But Batman's not worried about that, as he destroys the gun bat Insomnia created while telling him that he doesn't scare that easy. And it isn't until he's done where he notices that Insomnia is gone. So now Batman makes his way to go into the black door, while making it clear that Insomnia was wrong, because Dr. Destiny did not put this door here, and Batman knows this because he created this door himself. And what's behind this door is no longer a part of his nightmare, but instead is the actual part of Bruce that has been stuck in Crime Alley, that he's kept hidden away and protected in his mind. Which is another reason why he was able to call out Insomnia for adding different elements to his nightmare that Bruce knew either didn't exist or were kept locked away. And now with him approaching the real younger version of himself, who he's protected through a lifetime of training, Batman admits that Insomnia was right about one thing. Insomnia was right about a piece of him being stuck in that alley forever, in that moment just after his parents died, when he stayed there with them for an hour and a half before a beat cop happened to pass by. And as Batman approaches young Bruce, he wonders if he saw who he'd become today, would he be scared or disappointed? He wonders if the man that he's become now let himself down in some kind of way. And with him seeing young Bruce in tears saying, "They're dead, my family's gone, I'm alone," Batman kneels down and tells him, "In this moment, you think your mission is yours and yours alone. You're never alone. You'll have a life unlike you ever expected. For a long time, you will live in the shadows, isolated, hidden and shielded away from anything but your mission. But others will find you in the dark, friends you can't imagine. Some who can fly and shoot fire from their eyes, some who can stop bullets with their bracelets, some who are so fast they can break the speed barrier, and children who will make you into a better man." And young Bruce is like, man, that sounds like a dream. But Batman tells him it's more than a dream. It's your family. As he then gives young Bruce a big old hug, which I gotta say is nice to see, because we've all known that the child Bruce was always there in Batman's mind, because even as Batman, his mission has always been like a child's dream. But to see Bruce now have this conversation with young Bruce, it's always nice when we get these moments where we're shown him working through the trauma instead of just pushing it back or keeping it locked away. And as he thanks his younger self just for this moment, young Bruce tells Batman that he's proud of him. But then he asks, like, why are you dressed like a bat? So older Bruce gives him the simple version. He's like, you know, cause bats are scary. And young Bruce is like, bats are cool. And older Bruce is like, bats are cool. I love to see it. But then suddenly Bruce's mind begins to pull him back so he can take control of his body again. And as he ascends to consciousness, he passes by a bunch of Zur-En-Arrh Batmen, a Frank Miller version, animated series version, a 1989 Michael Keaton version. And he asks Deadman, like, what was that? Only to get no response. So he then takes the opportunity while it's here to knock Deadman out of his body so that Bruce can have full control over himself again. And as Bruce does this, with everything happening so fast, the black door slams shut and Bruce wakes up violently, finding himself in Arkham Tower again, feeling immensely sore and exhausted. But also right now he's very skeptical because he remembers Deadman jumping out the window of Arkham Tower when Deadman was using his body, and as he looks out of the broken window down at Gotham, he's not even sure if he's outside of the nightmare or not. But then suddenly Damien shows up telling Batman that this is the real world and they lost. Which now is kind of like a cliffhanger meeting another cliffhanger, because this story continues in Night Terrors issue 3. But leading into this, since the Free Comic Book Day issue, Damian Wayne has long been on a mission to figure out what's going on, which led him to seeking out a master of sleep and dreams. Because prior to the world getting taken down into its endless sleep, Damien had a nightmare of a man traveling across the dreamscape in search of something, but all he could remember from his nightmare were images. And while Damien was here seeking answers from this master of sleep and dreams, he heard his father initiate the protocol, No Sleep Till Gotham, which, as we know, took place moments before Insomnia released his Forever Sleep all around the world. But back when this happened, we were shown for Damien that he had figured out how to not fall asleep using the teachings of this secret master, though at the time it appeared like Damien had went under as well. But like we were shown, it worked. He was able to stay awake, and he remembered his nightmare in full detail as he left this temple to go on to find his father and make Insomnia pay. But in this cliffhanger, much like the Batman Night Terrors issue 2, we're also teased with the idea of Damien actually still being asleep and crossing over into other nightmares, which has also been a thing throughout this series. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/Dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.